Weekly Standard has a story today. New research from the Republicans on the Senate Budget Committee shows that over the last 5 years, the United States has spent about $3.7 trillion on welfare. That last 5 years. There are 80 different means-tested poverty and welfare programs. .2% of the people in this country now receive some kind of government benefit. 49% is known as the tipping point, too. And if Obamacare gets fully implemented, we're going to have tipped way beyond the tipping point of 49%, which is why Obamacare is so vital to the Democrat Party future. You know, I remember in the 90s, there used to be a statistic, and I cited it often when talking about the failure of the welfare state. Since the Great Society was birthed in 1964, and the numbers basically were that from 1964 to, say, 1995, that'll do it, over $5 trillion had been transferred from producers to welfare recipients. And the statistic was used to illustrate that it didn't matter because the percentages of people in poverty hadn't changed. The percentage of people below the poverty line in 1964 was identical to what it was in 1995 and 97 and 98. It's around 14%. Despite all of that money, it didn't reduce poverty. Now this number is staggering. $3.7 trillion on welfare in the last 5 years in the Obama administration. $3.7 trillion on welfare. Now 90 million Americans aren't working. They're all eating. They've got cell phones. They've got flat screens and automobiles, and some of them have air conditioning. Yesterday we had the news that there are 15% of young people, 16 to 24, not in school and not working. This is not a foundation on which a great country builds a future. It just isn't. This is what troubles all of us. We are opposed to welfare because it destroys people. It robs them of their own humanity. It robs them of their dignity. Not the people who really need it, but at 3.7, there are 90 million Americans that do not need welfare. We have an economy, if you get people like this out of it, we have an economy that can provide a standard of living for a great percentage of that 90 million not working that is a better and higher standard of living than they are getting on welfare. That's what's been remarkable, exceptional, if you will, about this country, that it has had such a booming economy, such a robust entrepreneurial free market spirit economy, that it has been able to produce a standard of living the world has never seen. And it sustained that. And the rule was that every generation's standard of living would increase. And that's been arrested now with the Obama administration. Folks, you're not going to have a growing economy with $3.7 trillion spent on welfare in 5 years. 5 years. From 64 to 95, $5 trillion. It's just unbelievable. And by the way, the $3.7 trillion is not even the entire amount spent on federal poverty support. The states contribute more than $200 billion every year to the federal amount, primarily in the form of low-income health care. And in the census, 49% of Americans get government benefits. This is a Democrat Party at work. This is exactly what they intend the country to look like. The Democrat Party is the author. Democrat Party loves this. The Democrat Party wants a welfare state. They want an expanding welfare role. $3.7 trillion. And we don't have the money. Add that to the mix. We don't have the money. The people who are getting the money have no legitimate claim to it. We don't have the money to be doling out in ways that are not productive.